Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this vast cosmic realm. Welcome to MenorcaConsciousness Group and the Cosmic Lounge. So this evening's guest, who I always absolutely love and adore on one side, and love and adore speaking to, Lissi Hansen, channeler, healer, medium, etc., etc. So tonight we're going to be, in this session, we're going to be discussing the new light, or we're going to use the new light or a new light to start the program off. And then we'll just open it up and allow it. So please, if you've got any questions, any comments, put them in the chat, if you will. Let us know that you're here. We'll try and get through the questions. But mainly, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Lissi for joining us. Thank you for Ava to technically source everything up, set it all up, sorry. And without any further ado, we're going to invite Lissi in, if that's okay.
Hello.
Hi, Lissi.
How are you?
Very good. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yes.
Hello, our chat.
Exactly. It's always fun. It's always something to turn over.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we've got the energy at the moment, the light at the moment seems to be a little bit shifting quite strongly at the minute. So yeah. I think it's perfect timing to have this sort of chat.
I think so as well. There's so much going on energetically right now. And I think there's a lot of people that probably are feeling a little bit upside down.
So yeah, so to say, well, we've decided to open the room, or Zoom room up after this at 7:30, just to discuss these energies at the minute.
Brilliant.
So we can just waffle. Sal's here. Hi, Sal. Thanks for joining us. And Robert James, found you at last. Oh my goodness, how long have you been looking for, Robert? Nice to have you with us.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Yeah. Oh, Christina's here as well. Hello, Christina. Thank you for joining us. Great. I'm sure there'll be more coming on.
Yes.
So, Lissi, let me just do this first because it kind of gets it out of the way. So, for anybody interested, we've got a chat later on after this on Zoom. Zoom details are on Menorca Consciousness Group with a post. Also, and we'll put them up here, I'm sure. We've got lots of events on out through the week in the daytime with some beautiful minds, tutors, etc. On Friday evening, we're going to do a special Circle of Ascension. It's a new space, so it's where people can come and practice for an hour. They're trance channeling, light language, etc., etc. But no mediumship. It's not for mediumship. Cool. Sorry, Lissi.
I said I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, it's like we've already got a channeling course on the go, but clearly this is needed as well. The more, I think there's just almost like this surge towards channeling now. So we're just opening the space up more.
Yes.
Anyway, so Lissi, please tell us about yourself.
Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm a medium. I'm also a trance medium, but I delve a lot in channeling. You know, I do channel a lot of higher beings of light and consciousness, so that's always very exciting and interesting. And well, I'm a healer. I'm a certified Reiki healer. I also do quantum healing, which is something that I channeled a few years ago. And what else? Well, you know, just bits and bobs like that.
Maybe pop in with a bag of tricks.
Yeah. I do a little bit of everything, me.
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. Which is your favourite out of them all, if you've got a favourite?
If I had to choose, I probably would say the trance channeling. Yeah. That's my favorite. Just because when I do it, I'm always so interested to see what they have to say. One. They give me, when I do a lot in meditation, and so the messages are just phenomenal, honestly, and it's so amazing, you know. But also when you're doing it, when you're going into a slightly deeper trance, you feel the energy as it flows through you, and I love that because I can feel it's not just energy, but it's actually codes, you know. It's codes, there's light language, there's all sorts of things that can happen within that trance session. So I just love it. I love the feeling of it. I love that I'm able to do it. I love the fact that I'm able to help people. So yeah, it's probably my favorite, I would say. But obviously I do mediumship, I do other things as well that I really enjoy, you know. But yeah, I would say that's probably the thing that I'm most passionate about.
Just to, I love this already. Even the energy straight away in here. Just for those what might be new, what watch this live or later. When you say codes, how would you explain codes to somebody what doesn't, you know, have just come into this space and go, what does she mean by codes, channeling codes?
Yeah, so they're like codes. So the way that I understand it is every sound and frequency contains a code, including our words that we speak. But as they're sending the words through me and I'm speaking, they're basically intertwined with codes. And your consciousness can accept those codes, and sometimes they can act as like a form of frequency healing. But also they can do things like expand your consciousness. There's lots of levels to it. I always like to explain it a little bit like an equation. So we've had this conversation before. So if you think of the world and everything in it, including the universe, as one big equation, there are many mathematical equations within that. Okay, there's many codes, many numbers, if you put it down to numbers. So when I'm channeling, it's like they're sending through these frequencies and codes and equations in a sense, you know, and you can accept them and they help with your embodiment sort of thing.
Beautiful stuff. So what we're looking at then, really, to a point anyway, as far as we can get it to, codes are like frequencies with information, specific information on, but there can be many levels of frequencies and information.
Yeah, I suppose they're like waves, right? Yeah. So they're waves.
Waves of light waves.
Yeah.
I think that's a good description. I would definitely that feels correct.
Doesn't it?
My understanding. Yeah. Working with frequencies and energies, interesting, isn't it? Because when we look at mediumship itself, that in a way, the message, the information, what comes through during a message, it is sent on wavelengths for me. It's like a stream of frequencies, and it's got information on. That information is the details and information regarding the recipient. And then by extension, we can say, okay, Spirit sending me thoughts, wavelengths. I'm catching the thoughts, giving the recipient the message, the information, which is going to sound absolutely insane, but we can probably still say they are codes as well, codes of information for the recipient. And then by extension, when we start moving into the channeling, altered states and trance, then the frequencies start. It's all frequencies, but the state of the frequency begins to alter. It's almost as if they become finer and purer, so that the details on what we call the codes is coming from. Can't believe I'm going to say this. it's coming from a high source of being or consciousness of cosmic light, and those beings what inhabit those planes, so to speak. Interesting stuff.
It's very interesting. And as we keep raising our consciousness,
Yeah,
we will be able to understand it in a much greater depth than we are right now. It will just be intuitively known within your embodiment, you know?
I was sitting here with the word intuition as you were speaking that last sentence.
I know. Yes, because we're always on the same frequency. So already we're on the same wave, right? So
yeah. It's like I want to say, in the form of intuition, obviously we know is frequency. So
yeah.
it's so funny. So do you want to say hello to people who just joined us, Lizzie?
Yes, let's do it. So let's see who we've got. So we said hi to Sal and Robert James, Christina, hello. Thank you for coming. We've got my sister here, Ingrid.
Finally found you.
And we've got Patrick. Hi, Patrick.
Patrick's arrived on his bus.
Hi, Neva and Trish.
Hi,
Thank you so much, girls, for coming along. And Margaret. And yeah, that's it for now.
Trish, Margaret, Robert, Neve, thank you. Guys, thanks so long. Thank you so much for coming along. If you've got any questions, please throw them at us. Martine Lightfoot. Hi, Martine. Thanks for joining us. Anybody got any questions, any thoughts, please share them with us. The bus is revving. Yeah, Patrick, it needs to be revving, like, definitely at these times. So I should say, guys, it's a standing joke between me and Patrick. So you can all kind of have your own thoughts on it, but it's just humor. Anyway, so what I wanted to ask Lizzie is, we use the title "A New Light." Now, I was kind of cautious when I see it. I just thought, I'm just going to use the new light, put it in. It's a good title. We can expand on it.
Yeah.
Then I kind of had a secondary thought about it, which was, well, a new light. We can't say this is a new light, what's coming in, because that would be too presumptuous. But I think what we can say from that is new frequencies. There's new, people are tapping into now and opening up and attuning to new frequencies, where 20 years ago there wasn't, it wasn't kind of possible for most minds. Whereas now that expansion of consciousness, the shift of consciousness, as we understand, on the planet, is allowing a mind to bring in these new frequencies. So we can, in effect, say it is like a new light, which is coming into the world. Got any thoughts on that, Lizzie? What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, I agree. It is like, well, it's a new light for us, isn't it? So I suppose we're, like you said, we're able to access other, I would call them dimensional spaces of information.
Yeah.
And kind of pull in different things from different places. And as we're doing that, we're allowing our space to expand and our consciousness to expand within that, right? So it's like a merging, I suppose, really, of this new light, that we're again embodying. It's funny because they keep putting that word in my mind, embodiment of self.
Yeah.
So, and that's really what's happening, is we're coming back to, and I always say this, the truest version of ourself, the most authentic version of ourself.
Yeah.
I think when people think, what do you mean when you say that? And what I really literally mean is that we're able to access parts of our soul that we weren't able to access before.
Yeah.
Because we were very much living in a kind of 3D consciousness, which was only allowing us to live in this physical body, and not, like you said, not many were able to access those dimensional spaces of information. But now everyone's going through an ascension. So essentially everyone is raising their frequency and their vibration to a point that we are now able to, more and more people are able to tap in to that light, okay, and bring, it's almost like information in from, you know, your higher selves, from other places, other parts of you, really, which then creates an embodiment of self. So we're kind of remembering who we are, in a sense.
Interesting, isn't it? I like the word embodiment, and I would tend to agree with you that it's in at the minute strongly, because I think whoever's guiding all of this, obviously there's clearly several messages, and we can say there's priority messages as well. Some of them are actually priority, but whether embodiment is one of the priorities, which is likely, it could be very likely that they're trying to push that and inspire people to, because the way I perceive embodiment is walking the talk.
Yeah.
We've got to embody the teachings or the knowledge or the information or whatever it is we want to, you know, that label doesn't really matter, but we've got to embody them, and they can then emanate. And it's almost from that point, what we're doing is we're starting to, I don't want to use the word emanate. I'm trying to find a different word. But what we're doing, reflecting, too dense for me, but we're doing something. We're pushing this energy out, which is almost like we're pushing the codes out. As the codes come in, we're reflecting or pushing the codes out. And the purest form of doing that is by embodying the codes. And therefore, we're walking the talk, so to speak, rather than the intellectualizing of it all. Oh, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking and thinking. And just speaking about spiritual matters rather than walking and living it and embodying it itself. So I think you've got one of probably the top 3 key words of the year, because I think also if we extend this slightly further, we know the change is here. We know the world is the atmosphere, the energy. There's an intensity building with what's going on in the world, and the embodiment of the teachers or of the teachings, the embodiment of the light of them is what I think everybody's going to not just need, but actually rely on to get through these next few years. So I think it's a brilliant one. I really do. When we look at what's going on in the world at the minute, and we're gonna this will probably come up later on the Zoom meeting tonight, which will be generating the light body. It seems to me now that the light body is more needed for people to generate the light body now more than previously, as was the case, because the light body also acts as a protector in the circumstances, the planetary energetic shift what's taking place. And again, we're back to the embodiment of it, aren't we? Walking it. Good stuff, isn't it?
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's the path.
Yeah. Robert James, I've started hearing music, but very muted and distant.
Thanks, Robert. I love that. I've been getting so much more music coming in as well. So when I do my online stuff, like they just drop music into my mind all the time, which is really nice. And I've been hearing a lot of music in my dreams, which is really interesting. So, you know, I've been, and I'll say this again, I've been tracking my dreams.
Yeah.
I don't do it every night because it can be a bit exhausting waking up in the middle of the night and try and like record your dreams. I try and do it as much as I can. And in my dreams, I've had a lot of music come up. And it's always like they play the lyrics over and over again, but it's almost motivational, I would say.
Yeah.
All of the songs that have come through have been when linked in with the dream, have always been like a motivational, like the words are motivational.
Yeah, got it.
So
Inspiring
yeah,
and uplifting.
so that's quite exciting, Robert. So keep listening.
Yeah, Robert.
Team are sending you lots of information within and lots of codes within those pieces of music. So that in itself would also be quite interesting. I mean, there's ways that you can kind of decode things. So sometimes if I'm unsure about something, like a dream or, you know, whatever, I might put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, what could this mean? This is what I think it means. What do you think? And then see what comes back. So it might be fun to play around with. But often with song lyrics, you can just look up the actual lyric and you'll be able to decipher what the message is.
Interesting. I love it, Lizzie. James, muted, very muted and distant. Been going on for a few weeks now. Interesting, because when it's muted, it can be. The first thing is when spirit or the guides are coming around, their main thing is to make sure that we can handle things in the way we can and as best as we can. So sometimes they can kind of move in on us, so to speak, and it can feel muted, or you can, you know, it's like, I can hear it, it's clear, but it's a bit muted and distant, like I say. That could be initially to protect you, so they don't pop your eardrums completely, okay? And as the more you relax into it, potentially, it's not always the case because it comes in and then goes out, but potentially as you relax into it, it could become clearer and louder for you. I think it's beautiful, definitely. It's like it's in another room. Yeah, it's like it's in another room. Yeah, that's right. That's interesting, Robert, because a lot of people over the years who I've spoke to, when they've heard spirit by clairaudience, many of them have spoken that it's like they're hearing spirit in another room and not next to them. Obviously, some mediums, I know one medium is clairaudient, absolutely amazing medium. He's always been clairaudient, and he's got spirit standing next to him. That's how he's received it. But there's been several people, lots, to be honest, who said it's like it's in another room. So, and it's not so much that they're in another room. It's like the space between our hearing aid, if you like, or ability to hear, is so deep within us. The distance, it can seem like the noise is coming from another room, when they can be standing here. So, love it.
Did you see what Sal said? She said, I would agree. I'm getting music to boost my frequency, giving me the nudge forwards. So this is what I mean. I really think as our ascension is revving up, more and more people are going to get more and more clairaudience, more and more things coming in, more psychically in tuned. Their intuition will be a lot stronger. They won't be able to go against their heart's desire. You know, I get a lot of this stuff coming through in my messages when I'm doing readings for people and stuff. That, you know, our energy systems are really coming online now, which means that we're having to move forward in our most authentic energy, you know.
And the cosmos, it's like the cosmos is dictating it, and they're going, guys, either come with it, or it's like, we're going to take. You think you're in control? We're taking all control off you. This is how it's going to work. So just blend with it. Don't resist it, and make it hard for you or difficult for yourselves.
I think essentially, you know, we are intertwined with Mother Gaia as well, and where she's raised her frequency, you know, you cannot exist on a plane if you are in a completely different frequency. You cannot be in a 3D frequency if the Earth is now in a 4-5D frequency. Like, how would that work? You know?
Well,
So
yeah, sorry, go on.
so we're having to we're having to do the work to shift layers, you know.
Yeah, nice point, Sal.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know Sal, she also does channeling as well, which I love. It's like we're getting surrounded by ETs, isn't it, these days? So
we are the ETs,
especially with Patrick we've got an ET driving the bus with Patrick, so
he can drive us.
But just quickly picking up on a couple of them points, Lizzie. The earth change, the frequency of the earth changing.
Yeah.
It is really becoming fascinating now, isn't it? Because we're seeing the physical shift of the planet. Earthquakes, volcanic stuff, all occurring now, like it's never occurred before. And for those people who go, well, it's always occurred. It just happens we've got social media and the news can pick up everything. It's not that. I don't believe that for 1 minute. The earth, there's a distinct change physically taking place to the planet. We know that. And geomagnetically, the magnetic energies of the earth is also, the frequency is changing.
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, as an example, we can say when we look at the poles, the ice, north and south poles, interesting, as they're receding, they're kind of melting, as we understand, and we seem to be thawing out more. And in that thawing out process, we know the density of ourselves, the density of our being in this plane is kind of loosening up. And that's where the expansion of consciousness is taking place. And of course, the ascension along with it. So it's interesting that the physical body of the planet and the physical body of a human, there's correlating things going on here. I liken to it as it's almost as if we've been in a state of incubation.
Absolutely, and I would agree. And I know that there's been this whole story about global warming and how, this is terrible and the ice pole is melting and this is not supposed to happen. But is that just a part of the veil of illusion that's shifting now? Are we actually, if I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I feel that, like you said, the shift that's happening where the ice is melting and it's almost like the veil of illusion is disappearing and we're able to now see through the veil. Those two things I think are interlinked.
Yeah.
So there's always a lot of fear mongering that goes on the news and the mainstream, and they want to keep you in a state of controlled embodiment in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's interesting now that not just physically are we seeing changes on earth, but we're also seeing the veils being opened, like politics, with who people at the top really are, what they stand for, what they represent, and that's been going on for quite some years now. But the veil is getting so thin now that every time somebody tries to be disingenuous, everyone can see straight through it. I mean, I would say there's always levels, and people could exist on different levels of consciousness. Of course, there's always the people that are further along than others. But eventually we'll all catch up to each other, right?
Yeah.
And I do think it is like, I think that was very well said, actually, what you said about, it's like a melting,
This for me is, and we knew this before we landed here, we was going to come into a physical body what would have specific limitations during this point of the Earth's evolution, and by and large, the evolution of the galaxy, etc., the physical world, the physical known plane. So it's okay, we're going to go in, and then we go, oh, this is heavy, this is dense. Okay. And yet we've timed it perfect because we know the physical body of the earth is going through this transformation.
Yeah.
And it's given us the opportunity to harmonize and do what we've come here to do, whatever that is. And it just fits perfect for me. Oh, this is always fitted. But it's like when we put all the pieces in, you go, oh, that matches this. We've been in a state of incubation. We're now thawing out. We are literally thawing out. Just to extend this a little bit more, then from that point we go, okay, what's causing this then? Well, then it's thermodynamics, the heating up in a certain way. But it's not the heating up as we normally understand human-wise. To a point it is, but to a point it's not. Because then we go, okay, thermodynamics is playing a role. Something is heating the planet up. But it's not as if somebody's got a blowtorch and standing there melting the poles. So what is it? So then that's where science starts coming into play. And you go, well, this is light. This is to do with light. Because we know light, radiating, it generates heat. So the light is the cause of the melting of the poles on one level or other. We're here at the same time simultaneously, and our mind and consciousness is expanding, almost matching it.
Absolutely.
Completely. You know, it's like, there's no profound variations going on. This is very clear that this correlation is very present. And of course, the more we as a species awaken and generate that light, that's assisting the earth. This business of, we're going to do this for the earth, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. It's like, we've been here 2 minutes. The earth knows exactly what it's doing.
But it's interesting as well. I just want to put this point in. I don't know if you've been seeing this, but it's not just us and like humans that are waking up to this consciousness shift. It's also animals. So I'm seeing it all over, like so many videos and stuff of cats and dogs who are actually kind of saying words that are able to communicate with they're starting to be able to communicate with their owners now. And it's really fascinating to watch, you know. So it's not just us, it's all sentient life on Mother Earth, including Mother Earth, right? So all sentient life in this bubble that we exist in. And I believe what's going to happen eventually is when we get to a certain point and we are more in an embodiment of more translucent embodiment, not so physical. That is when we're going to realize that we're not actually separate, like the Earth is not actually separate from other planetary planes. And so we'll be able to access other planetary planes the way that we can access each other. And we should be able to then see through those veils, because they are really just veils of illusion in a sense that we've created, you know, put ourselves in a bubble to say that we're separate from everything and we're the only living beings in this universe. I mean, it's crazy, but we're not, you know, it's just frequency and energy, right? And, you know, I always get the same, I'm going to say it again because I love saying it, but we are one. Everything is one. That's it, you know. And if you can be in that way of thinking, you realize you're not separate from anything else. I mean, that's where so many things come in. I've always felt, my whole life, I've always felt like I lived in a different world to everybody else, okay? I literally have. And I've always been big on gratitude, and, you know, I've had a lot of tribulations, but I've always looked for the solution rather than look for the problems. Okay. So again, it's a mindset, but it's a frequency that you put yourself in. And I think this is where we're being pushed now. What kind of world do you want to live in? You know, because we're creating it basically by our thoughts, by our own embodiment of the things that we want to see and experience, right? And so now it's like we're starting to wake up to the fact that we actually hold the control. And I've said this my whole life, you know, all of this stuff with the wars and all of, you know, the violence and, you know, all of that stuff. But, you know, I don't want to go in too deep, but like, you know, the religious stuff and all of the stuff, right? So all of it, all of the distortion and that kind of energy, by us just accepting it, that's what we're creating, that's what we're experiencing.
We're feeding it.
We're feeding it. So it's a continuous loop. So actually, you know, the more and more people that pull themselves off the news, the more and more people that just come back to themselves, the more people that aren't afraid to go into themselves and, you know, do the shadow work. And we talk about this a lot as well. But the more people that come back to themselves, the stronger we're going to anchor in the light, right? And the more light will happen. And the more we can shift into a different reality, because we're creating that. We're saying we're taking a stand. And we're saying we don't want to experience that world anymore. We don't want to live in chaos anymore, right? We want to live in peace and harmony. So if we can all come back to ourselves, it means that we're at peace with ourselves. We're in harmony with ourselves, with Source, the Creator. And so that's what we're anchoring in. So that's the kind of reality that we're creating. And I think that's exactly what's happening now. We're being forced to do that now. Like there is no choice anymore.
There isn't, is it? No, it's here. The event is happening.
The more you fight it, the harder your life will feel. You know. So Anyway, that was my little.
No, absolutely beautiful, Lissi. I was so happy when you brought the animal kingdom into it. Sentient beings.
So beautiful.
I mean, when you see now, like a lot of people obviously witnessing it, there's these clips and reels and God knows what online of these wonderful interactions, even with sharks. You know, with dolphins and seals. You know, and you go, see, this has always been here. This is like horses healing. I just love watching some of the stuff where the horses. There's somebody laid on a therapy bed outside in some garden somewhere, you know, where there's stables, and like 2 or 3 horses just come around, and just like there's that beautiful interaction of light.
Because their energy, their heart field is, I think, I can't remember exactly the number, but it's something like 6 times more stronger than ours.
There you go.
So they're what's it called? Toroidal field or whatever it's called.
Yeah, toroidal field.
Is 6 times stronger than ours. So you can imagine being in the present of a being like that, of unconditional love, because they are, if you treat them how you should treat every being, and they are unconditional love, like most animals are, they're already in harmony with themselves. So actually just stepping into their frequency, they can heal you. They can heal you. I mean, I work with horses for a really long time, so I'm a big lover of horses. And they're just such beautiful beings, and they're extremely intelligent.
Of course,
Dolphins. I mean, dolphins have fascinated me my whole life, because the way that they do things, the signals that they use, the frequencies, all of that stuff. You know, you hear these stories of women that have given birth in the sea, and the dolphins have surrounded them, and by them using their calls, their frequencies. Oh, he disappeared. I'm just going to carry on. By them using their frequencies around the pregnant woman, there was no childbirth pain anymore. So it's incredibly amazing. I don't know what's happened to Colin. He's just disappeared. I'm sure he's going to come back online in a second. So yeah, very interesting. Anyone have any questions while we're waiting for Colin to come back? Oh, hello, Rish. How are you? To be fair, I'm recently challenged when communicating and sharing my loved ones how I'm doing related to what I'm experiencing every day. Most part of it within the spirit world and different and difficult energies. They're really caring and interested in me and asking how I am, but I have absolutely no understanding nor acceptance of the world of spirit, even when I do my best to explain. It's like we're in a loop of misunderstanding, which leads to frustration on both sides. Wow. So I was just trying to read this question. I finished my talk about the dolphins, by the way. You disappeared for a while.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I know.
It was a dolphin frequency kicked me off.
I know. It's literally. I was saying my final point of the dolphin story was ladies that have given birth at sea, and the dolphins have surrounded them with the sound frequency, and they had no child labor pain. They just gave birth to their child without any pain whatsoever, with the assistance of the dolphins, which is incredibly beautiful.
Amazing.
It's like if we can harmonize with the animal kingdom, I think it would really help us, right?
Well, funny enough, you probably saw the film Dr. Dolittle, the original one. I saw the original one.
Yeah.
And it was kind of totally obvious to me that that was the true nature of reality, communicating with the animal kingdom, that we've all got it.
Exactly.
So, funny enough, just a couple of other bits on that, what you were speaking about, the oneness as well, Lizzie, that I think the sense of oneness is now growing globally, because that the only way I can describe this is it's like individuals have had enough of separateness and divide and being separate from something. And that to me is like a call into the oneness inside them. That's what it's like. The layers of delusions have been peeled away. The duality, what has played a role in this point or stage of evolution, is now just gradually dissolving. It's saved its purpose, it's dissolving. We're going towards that sense of oneness. I kind of laugh with it, because I really believe when technology speaks of the singularity, AI, etc., I can't help it. I've always believed and thought they've got it totally wrong. The singularity is about the oneness with human consciousness, with the cosmos and nature itself.
Absolutely.
And you described it beautifully earlier. So I wanted to kind of bring that one back up. Beautiful stuff. And we've got Christina then asking her.
Yes.
Hi, Rish. Thanks for joining us. Hello. Let's have a look. Shall I read this? Let's have a look. To be fair, I'm recently challenged when communicating, sharing with my loved ones, how I'm doing related to what I'm experiencing every day. Most part of it within the spirit world and different difficult energies. They are really keen and interested in myself and asking how I am. But I have absolutely no understanding, no acceptance of the world of spirit, even when I do my best to explain. It's like we are in a loop of misunderstanding, which leads to frustration on both sides. How? I don't know the second part. I presume there was going to be a second part. Wow. Okay.
I think
Christina,
she might be asking how to bridge the gap between. I mean, I understand, if I'm understanding the question right. it's difficult when you feel separation, as in you're on a different frequency to the people around you, particularly family. I mean, I spent most of my life being quite quiet about the things that I knew within my family, because there's a lot of opinions in my family. I'm very lucky. Me and my sister are very spiritual, so we have a lot of chats. But for years, I never really spoke to my brothers about it, because I just felt, not my brother Jens, but certainly my eldest brother, sometimes I feel he's a bit in his ego, and it's a bit difficult, you know, because he has to be right. It's not about necessarily, you know, listening, taking it on board, and then kind of, you know, adapting. It's kind of like, no, I'm the most intelligent one, you know, I've got to get one over on you. And I find that can be quite difficult. And so I understand the difficulty within relationships when you vibrate on a different frequency to them. I mean, it's happened to many of my friendships too, you know. I actually think being quiet is not the right way. Whereas, I mean, it's what I chose before, but I think being more in my authentic self now, and having just completely gone, hey, you know, we don't have to, we can agree to disagree, but I also am allowed a voice, right? I think that's the right frequency to be in, because then you're in your most authentic frequency. But there are times when it's actually easier to say nothing. And I think it's such a shame, you know, it's a shame. Sometimes you have to wait for them to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of these, we can liken it in a way, it's one of these obstacles what every person faces. We can't say everyone, because we can't speak for everybody, but generally speaking, most people will encounter their own awakening or expansion of psyche. Clearly what's happening there is the mind's opened up for the individual. It's not opened up for the rest of the family. Or in this case, been blessed, your sisters. You've got your sister. But for those who haven't, then their mind's expanded. The family, normally, generally speaking, the individuals within the family, their mind is still limited by their expanse in the 3D world, in the 3D mindset. Whereas as soon as we have a psychic expansion, awakening, then that's it, the mind opens slightly into the fourth dimension. What we've got to do, what I think is really important, is first one is manage our energies straight away, accept it's happened to us. Because often we have this difficulty and go, why me, why me, why me? And it's like, you've just got to face it as quick as you can and go, right, I've got to accept this is happening to me. I've got to understand it's not happening to them. And I then, this is going to change my conversations with my family and friends, etc. So I always think the best way to do is just simply manage each situation as it comes. Never, ever try to convince a family member or friend about spiritual teachings and spiritual matters. Never. Unless they ask a specific question about it, out of curiosity or general interest. What they're doing at that point, they're opening the door. We're not forcing the door open by putting ours onto them. Even though we're excited, we want to discuss it. And even when they ask us, how are you doing? Brilliant. We've still got to have that sense of honesty and openness. But in the end, we have to learn to manage our mind and know what to say, when to say it, and what not to say to them. Because the main thing is about compassion and having compassion for those who have yet to wake up or have their experience. So we go, okay, it's happening to me. I'm just going to have to deal with this. And we all face it, to be honest, Christina. Everybody faces this. Like Lizzie was saying, we all feel different. We all, you know, especially when it happens to us, we go, woof, okay. And depending on the ferocity or the power of it. So So you just have to manage it as best as we can and be gentle with the family. They're almost like 3D minds, and I say that respectfully. 3D minds are like babies in a cot. See them as babies in the cot. They're sleeping gently and peacefully. We don't need to disturb them with our new knowledge and new awareness and new discovery of spiritual matters and the cosmos and dimensions and all, you know, healing and all this. It'll come to them when the time's right. Their awakening's coming. So it always came to us when it was right for us. Everybody else's comes when it's right for them, including our nearest and dearest, our family, friends, whether it's our mothers, fathers, whoever it is. Let them get on with it. Keep smiling all the way through. So, but don't beat yourself up and don't feel under pressure in that you've got to manage this. What you've got, you and I'll get ripped to pieces for this one. What's happening is you've got a slightly more expanded wisdom when you awaken spiritually. Now that can be debatable, and we're getting to guys, if you want to debate on another occasion, we'll do. But there is a little bit more wisdom. So we have to apply that wisdom. When this question comes daily, I feel trapped, whether I'm not truthful to myself in my answer, I'm fine, or I am authentic, and then we can't agree on the topic. I want to be authentic, but understand that I want to be authentic, but understand that they can't understand. Totally get it, Christina. Be gentle with yourself. That's the number one. Be gentle with yourself, and don't get into this kind of business of, it's not your responsibility to manage everybody's energies, but in a way there is a slight responsibility on you because now your awakening is taking place. So it's just about managing on each occasion. So Lizzie.
Yeah, I do think maybe this is something that I kind of acquired from a young age, because I always felt energies very strongly, to be the observer sometimes. So like I said, I spent a lot of my life just kind of observing dynamics within relationships, including my own relationships, and not taking it not taking anything personal, really, to be honest. Also, no one likes to feel attacked, you know, it's not a nice feeling. But I think if you can be the observer, you realize even when someone's responding to you in whatever manner they're responding, even if it comes across a little bit aggressive, it's a reflection of how they feel inside. You know, by you being in a stronger frequency or in your own authentic frequency, you may be triggering parts of themselves, you know, that they haven't quite explored yet, you know. So not trying to be accountable for other people or how they're feeling, and you know, not taking their journey on, in a sense, right? So we have to be on our own journey. And I think as a reflection on my life, you know, I was quite happy to be the observer for a long time. Now I've decided not to be an observer anymore so much, but obviously within some personal relationships, you know, I'm more open, and some, you know, I'm open if, like you said, someone asks me about myself or about my journey or about what's going on, I'm happy to open up about it, but I certainly don't project it at them. I don't always talk about it that much if I'm not asked. So I think that's really good advice, Colin.
I've always, to be honest, Lizzie, I like what you've said as well, because you're not obligated. We're not obligated for anybody else's, and it's not our compassion. We don't want anybody to suffer as a result of our change, the change what's taking place within us. Interesting enough, generally what happens is they're asking sometimes from a point of fear, because they're wondering what's happened to us, and sometimes we just need to say to them, I'm okay. I'm okay with who I am and what's happening with me. I know what I'm doing and I'm okay about it. And sometimes that can settle their disturbed mind or their concern. They can put their concerns to rest. And because you might get a reaction where you go, oh, Okay, as long as you're okay. And all energy can pull back nicely. This is a nice way of managing it. I kind of don't really like what you said earlier, that you feel trapped. Not that, it kind of like, I don't like the thought of you feeling trapped or anybody feeling trapped, but I understand what you're saying, Christina. But please don't feel trapped. Still be authentic as best as you can.
I mean, I think I tried to explain it to people around me was, if someone said, "How are you?" and I didn't want to say I'm fine if I wasn't, I would just simply be honest and say, I'm in a process of healing myself right now. And sometimes I have good days and sometimes I have bad days. And then if they wanted me to elaborate, I could tell them more. And if they wanted to move on from the subject, then at least I had been honest about where, right? So I think that's where we're learning to, this is something else that we're learning, communication, right? Because we've been taught so many ways of minimizing how we feel, our emotions, how we feel, where we're at, what we're experiencing. But I think now we're being called to find ways of communicating that works for us, not just for the recipient.
I laughed at when you said the communication, Lizzie. When I had experienced the awakening years ago, and I was looking at the world, all them ridiculous levels, politics, geopolitics, spirituality, religion, military, all of them, everyday life, waking, 3D stuff. And it was very clear what was missing. And the pain and suffering of the planet. One of the major aspects was our lack of communication.
Yeah.
On the planet, with each other.
Truthful communication.
Yeah.
I think it does come down to the fact that a lot of the time communicating emotions has been very difficult because it never used to be a thing. It wasn't taught, okay? It was suppressed.
Yeah.
And so the people who are, it's like a skill, okay? It's like a skill. You have to learn it. I've had to learn it. I was really bad at communicating my feelings. And sometimes I still find it difficult. But it's a real skill to learn how to communicate your feelings without communicating it in a way where the recipient feels like they're under attack. Let's say it is something between you and that person.
Yeah.
Also in a way that you feel that you're authentically communicating what actually is going on for you. But I think we're being called to do that more and more. So it's finding ways of communicating what's going on so that the other person can just observe you. It's becoming the observers of each other. It's like somebody said on here, like Rish said, we're a mirror to each other, right? And it's so interesting you said that, Rish, because recently I was thinking about all of the friendships, relationships and stuff that I've been through throughout my life. And I thought every person that I've ever experienced, that's experienced me, have been a mirror to something that I had to work out about myself.
Yeah.
And I can see that now. And there's another thing I always like to say is when a relationship or a friendship ends, there's always a completion. There's not an ending. So it's how we phrase and how we communicate what's going on for us that's so important.
Skillful. The word skillful, I love what you just said, Lizzie. It's beautiful what you're saying. It reminds me of the Buddhist teachings. Regarding communication, we've got to apply skillful means. We've got to communicate skillfully, which means we've got to pause, we've got to watch our mind, we've got to try and find the wisdom. When I'm contemplating stuff, all I'm doing is looking for the deepest wisdom, what I possibly can. In most things, I will pause. It's like, okay, doesn't matter how long it takes me to think on something, I won't budge until I think I've got that most profound wisdom regarding that thing, that aspect, whatever it is. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the wisdom, but where communication is concerned, we need to use skillful means, which means we need to find the wisdom in which to, because the wisdom gives us the right thoughts, which will give us the right words. And we go, okay, I can skillfully manage this situation. Hopefully, I'm going to try. You know, in Christina's instance, it's like, I feel like she's at the point of finding the skillful means in which to communicate, remain authentic, speak what she needs to speak, and that be accepted. But whether it's accepted or not is not Christina's responsibility.
Yeah, and stand in her power while she does that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
She's got,
them to overpower her or her frequency, you know. So
I was thinking, yeah, go on, sorry.
I think.
Yeah, because it's not very often I use this word. Very rare do I use this word. But in this case, I can see where it might be required to set a boundary.
Yes.
Because often, and don't know the personal circumstances of what's going on regarding the communication in this case, but often we can feel that our mind and our way of thinking is under threat by others what don't understand it. So we have to set a boundary sometimes. It's like, okay, I've spent enough time here communicating with this. Let's change the subject.
Yes.
And in different ways. So it's like, we don't have to say, I've had enough, I'm not talking to you no more. We don't need that a lot, unless, you know, depending on the circumstance. Generally speaking, we just go, okay, I'm setting the boundaries for myself in order to protect my mind. And that's enough, because I want to remain in that sense of peace. There's nothing worse than being in that state of limbo when we're moving on a spiritual path and our family or our friends are clashing with us, and we're torn. There's something what's torn, because we know we're meant to have compassion, we know we're meant to love them, but I believe as soon as our mind expands with an awakening, our sense, the vibration of our love changes, and it changes for our family as well. And it doesn't get worse, it gets better, it becomes purer, but it can appear to them that it's got worse, that we don't love them as much as what we used to. It's like, no, we don't love you in the way we're grasping an attachment and being too attached, overly attached was concerned. But I have this new vibration of love. So, and I've got to protect it. And in this case with Christina, we have to protect it at all costs. So I think we might have a bit of an issue with Facebook by the look of it. Lost connection. Oh, not many people watching now, is it? Okay. All right. We've got our percent, so we can start drawing it to a close now, Lizzie. It looks like we've lost Facebook. Yeah, it's on YouTube. But for those who's jumped over, who's still on Facebook and joined us on Facebook, thank you so much. At 1:30, we will be opening the Zoom room and discussing current changes and some of the impact which it's been having in the last week or so physically. So ascending universal butterfly, what a thrilling conversation, so much guidance and wisdom. Love the different perspective, them ones. Awakening is in the realm of becoming an oddball, where illusions are cracking pieces by piece. Yes.
Absolutely.
100%. Like you said, Lizzie, dissolving illusions, clearing them, breaking them down. They're like the veil's getting thinner.
That's it.
Any last thoughts, Lizzie?
No, I think we wrapped up quite a few things today. But we'll definitely do another one. But yeah, I'm going to try and be on for this 7:30. So nice. Is it going to be on Zoom?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to let everybody know the Zoom, all the details are on, well, some of you might have seen them on here, but the details are on Menorca Consciousness Group under current energies, I think, or something. But you can find the Zoom details. We'll be up. There we go. Open Zoom room. I don't know if she's going to put the codes up. Yes. Okay. Ava's just going to bring the details up now. So amazing, Lizzie. Brilliant stuff.
That was fun. As always.
There's something else I was going to say. Have you got? Tell us about what you've got coming up then, just before we finish. Events
coming up. Just, bits and bobs. I've been doing a bit of platform, private sittings, talking to you, different things, bit of social media stuff. So yeah, that's it really. I'm just kind of going with the flow at the moment.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm being that, the feminine divine flow of allowing things to come to me.
I absolutely love it, Lizzie. Oh, thank you so much. So please, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. There's the ID. Take a screenshot or write it down, or whatever you want to do. I'll just waffle because we've got some beautiful events throughout the week on through Menorca, but it's on EVC, Ethereal Virtual Center, daily meditations, open circle, healing, inspirational writing, healing clinic, developing your spiritual gifts, etc., etc. Moonphase community, all sorts. We've got so much going on, guys. Please have a look, and everybody's welcome to join us. We're running 3 courses at the minute: channeling, trance, and mediumship. But we'll be starting. We think we'll be starting them again next month because we're only halfway. Well, not even halfway through. So if anybody's interested in them, let us know, because we'll be starting some more from next month onwards. Friday is the Circle of Ascension, where you can come practice your channeling, trance. It's a space for you to kind of have an opportunity to practice. And so much more. I know I'm going to forget stuff. World Peace Meditations with the beautiful Colette on Sundays, an open circle on Sunday night. Lizzie's going to be back with us on a regular basis. You don't know it yet, but I can pick up. And we're going to continue these conversations if she will do it with us. And news for Egypt event, 15th of April onwards for about, could be 11, 14 days. All that information is about to come out now, finally. And blah, blah, blah. I forgot other stuff, sorry. Thank you to all the tutors on EVC, to Lizzie, to everybody. And for those that's been joining us, thank you so much. To Ava, special thank you for working behind the scenes. That's it.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks,
Lizzie, thank you.
Watching.
Yeah.
We'll be doing it again soon.
Very helpful for people, what you've been saying, Lizzie. Thank you so much. So beneficial.
Yeah, back at you, because I think, you open this space and it's beautiful that we're able to kind of have these kind of conversations. And it's very enriching, to talk with like-minded people.
I'm just here for the fun of it. I'm just passing time till the major event happens. I'm just killing time.
Me too.
Oh, thank you. Right, we'll see you. Please join us afterwards in 15 minutes on Zoom.
Perfect.
Lots of love, Lizzie. Thank you so much. See you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.